Good evening, everybody, and welcome again to another episode of the Shooters Lounge podcast. It's Monday evening, every 2 weeks, coming to you, giving you all the details you need to know about the NBA. We've got a packed show tonight, as always, guys. Please, everybody, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can catch us on socials at Shooters Lounge 3. As you can see, if you're watching from YouTube, we have got an absolute star-studded cast this evening. First, I'll introduce the former host of the the End of the Bench show that used to be. We've got George. George, thanks for coming on, bro. It's good to see you again, man.
Yeah, good to be back, mate. Good to be back. Obviously, not as regular as I used to be. Missed the last one. I think I might have missed the last two actually. So
track record's not great, bro. Track record's not great.
I can always tell my grandkids I was there for the first ever one. So that's all that matters.
Absolutely. It's a landmark in YouTube history. Thanks for coming down, man. Really appreciate it, bro. And also, we have a regular now on the Shooters Lounge podcast. We have Adam, Mr. Philosopher. What's happening, bro? Welcome back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for the invite again, Big Matt. Always a pleasure to be here. Let's go. Three's up.
The pleasure is mine, sir. The pleasure is mine. We've got the big three this evening, so I'm sure we can put out some decent content, guys. I think we'll see what happens.
Good topic.
Well, I hope so. We'll start with the first topic we've got. And would it be an NBA season without some Draymond Green controversy? Last Tuesday, things got a little heated in the Warriors-Timberwolves game. Around 60 seconds in, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't much more than that. Couple of players getting into it. Klay Thompson was involved, and Gobert tried to get in the middle. And Draymond's just come in, and I'll let you guys describe what you think he was trying to do. And then the melee ensued. Draymond's tossed. A couple of other guys are tossed out of the game. And since then, Draymond has been given a 5-game suspension. Philosopher, what were your thoughts when you first saw the video of Draymond's, kind of a wrestling move? I think we could put it down to on Rudy Gobert.
Does anyone remember who won that game?
The Timberwolves won that game, bro.
Does anyone remember the score?
I'm going to go 104-101.
Does anyone remember who had a good game? That's my three. That's my three questions. Since it's the Shooters Lounge, the maximum you can score on 94 feet of NBA court is a 3. So I had 3 questions. Does anyone remember who won the game? Does anyone remember the score? And does anyone remember who actually had a good game? Who was like the star of the game, or who was the most impactful? And the reason why I guarantee you 8 out of 10 people, including us NBA fans and fanatics and supporters and super freaks, won't have accurate answers to those 3 questions, even if you get 1 or 2 of them right. I doubt anybody can get all 3 right, simply because with about 10 minutes and 40-something seconds on the clock still in the first quarter, in the first, not late, not deep in the first half, not a early third quarter burst even, so the second half just started, not deep in the fourth quarter and the game is close. No, not even in overtime, and since the Bolosso is known for you got a couple of characters that we know for rants and making noise. I don't know why you wanted to open tip with a rant from me. This is annoying. What's most annoying about it? 10 minutes and 40-some seconds on the clock in the first quarter, and everybody's gonna blame Draymond, and maybe rightly so, because Draymond, like Ron Artest before him, like even Boogie Cousins before him, to a lesser extent Jermaine O'Neal, to a lesser extent Steven Jackson, maybe even you could go as a stretch would be Pat Beverly, you know. But then you got the big dogs like Darryl Dawkins, Dennis Rodman, Rasheed Wallace. The league literally waits for you to do something stupid to send you home. Draymond is that character in the league right now, more than anyone else. So I think everybody knew that Draymond was going to get suspended. Apart from that, what he actually did was insanely stupid. Like, and I am, y'all know I'm a proprietor of the old school NBA because I can't stand in this league now where you, as Stephen A would say, you can't pass gas and not get called for a foul. But even so, there was absolutely no reason for Draymond to did what he did to the extent of how he did it. I don't know how much more I could say. But the only other thing I would add is, though everybody blaming Draymond, I want everybody to not exclude Klay Thompson from this. Because Klay Thompson was the architect of that nonsense. Yeah, Klay Thompson. And like our learned colleague Ken would say, since he came back from injury, Klay has been playing with a chip on his shoulder. Like, and not playing well with a chip on his shoulder. He's lost a step. He lost bounce. He's nowhere near the Klay Thompson we remember. But he's got a grudge with everybody. And as soon as anybody tell him anything, the first thing you do is put up 4 rings. As though you playing good anyway. You know what I mean? Like, he starts fights now. Like, he always vex. You know what I mean? So, I don't know how much more I can say.
So, yeah, well, that's like you say, they're just waiting for Draymond to do something wrong to be able to put down some kind of punishment for him. They're just kind of
100%.
I think it's a pattern of behavior. I think that's how they explained it, wasn't it? The suspension was for also previous violations, I think, and that's why the 5 games have probably been a bit more. If it was somebody who was a first offense, it might have been maybe 2 games, 3 games, but
might not even have been games. Might have been a fine like the rest.
Yeah, exactly, mate. You know, with Draymond, he's as we say, he's got priors, so he's gonna be done for that. George, what were your thoughts, bro, on the melee that happened in this game?
I'll kick it off with Klay Thompson because I've got something off the back of what Adam's just said. Klay Thompson getting vexed, getting a little bit upset, getting antsy with people. I guess he got his feelings hurt. Thank you. Now, we all remember that interview. But to what's going on, I guarantee you Klay will hit form at some point this season because the last 2 years everyone's been like, oh no, and then he's had like a span of like 10 games where he's done really well.
Yeah.
However, more to the point of Mr. Draymond Green. I mean, he really is the gift that keeps on giving, isn't he? Really.
For us podcast creators, I mean, this is just gold, isn't it? It's just like, gotta note that one down. Gotta note that one down. You know, it's just like you say.
I mean, when I saw it the next day, I saw it the next morning when I was getting ready for work, and just I thought it was a joke. Like, I genuinely thought it was clickbait. I thought someone had like AI generated an image. I was just scrolling on Twitter one morning, like minding my own business, and I was just like, "Hang on, is that it?" Like everyone was talking that Draymond had done something stupid. Surprise, but I didn't realize it was going to be this stupid. I could not believe it when I just saw a picture, and I just thought, "Hang on a minute, is that Draymond Green with a chokehold on Rudy Gobert in the middle of an NBA game?"
No,
yes.
At the beginning.
Well,
at the beginning.
Now there is no one else that you would not doubt that if that was to happen, Draymond Green would be involved. you just would obviously he's a prime candidate. So
Yeah.
that's the ban. I think everything that you said about that, Matt, is spot on. Like, yeah, it's not. I don't think it's particularly extreme considering the things he's done prior and the fact that he had him round the neck. It's not like he pushed him or he's like slapped him. He's like strangling him at the end of the day. Very stupid. I mean, to be fair to Gobert, I know he gets a lot of stick. I thought he did pretty well to keep his head there.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of other people.
Gobert wasn't doing nothing
His arms
anyway.
was in the air like this, just playing.
He wasn't doing. Gobert wasn't doing. Like let's Draymond wasn't doing that to Boogie Cousins.
No, exactly. Like,
you know what I mean?
How would that end? Even in the league today, how would that end if he did that to, let's say, like, I actually can't think of anyone. Like, there's no one. This is how like insane Draymond is compared to the rest of the league these days. I can't think of anyone that he would do that that would turn around and kick off.
Yeah,
and I think that's an attribute to the league because too often we get on the league for being soft, rightly so, I believe. But the pro of that is that we don't actually know how much like before you knew every team had at least one or two that you're not playing that with. Every team. Now you could barely call 3 man in the whole league. In the whole league that you will say, all right, if he does that to him, it's a wrap. You know?
To be fair, there's one guy I've just thought of. I think if he did that to Jaren Jackson Jr., that could have ended very differently. I mean, pretty much half that Grizzlies teams are already loose cannons. So
even though he's smaller than Draymond, he's not doing that to Jimmy Butler either.
No,
you're not doing that to Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. If you go bare, are you saying to your teammates, you know, anybody won't give his hand, like, or you know, Cat tried to get involved, but he was more like hugging Draymond, really, rather than
Cat is another
actually doing anything.
Cat is like a wet marshmallow. Cat soft. Like,
I think our thoughts on Cat, bro, is well documented.
The only thing against Gobert I have is like it actually kicked off with Clay and McDaniels, and Gobert went and held Clay. So in the light of things, really and truly, Gobert should have gone and snatched up his teammate.
Yeah,
he held Clay, and the way he was holding Clay gave McDaniels free rein to throw hands if he wanted to, which is why Draymond then went for Gobert. I'm not saying that Draymond is right. I'm just saying like how it based on what I saw, that's what you know what I mean? That's what happened.
I think people have said, you know, how critical Draymond's been of Gobert in the past. He just used that as a classic excuse to get his hands on him, I think. I don't know whether you read too much of that. Because like it wasn't anything, because the game was only just started, so it wasn't something that happened during the game. This is something that's like happened, you know, back whenever. I'm not really sure. But something's gone on, hasn't it? And like it's just kicked off just all of a sudden straight away in the game, like you say. So sometimes the game kind of warms up to something like that, doesn't it? And then it kind of comes to a head. But this was like straight away. It was just like
weird, very strange. Even if we go to what people refer to as the worst case scenario, Malice in the Palace. Yeah. By the way, I would challenge anybody and tell them that that's not the worst case scenario of NBA fighting in game fighting. But anyway, it's because the crowd got involved, all that fine.
Yeah.
But even in Malice in the Palace, there was a build up to that.
Yeah, it warmed up.
There was like, and it was over a few games as well. There was a build up to that, and then it built up in the game as well. Like had a couple bad flagrants, and so none of that. 10 minutes, 40 something seconds. I have this in my notes, and I'm sorry, I can't even see the exact time. 10 minutes and 40 something seconds. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I want Draymond apologize to his teammates for that, for sure. Even if you don't apologize to Gobert or whatever the case is, he let his side down.
Like we said, it's another year, another Draymond thing. Last year was he punched his teammate. The year before it was something else. The year before, there's always something, isn't there, with almost as if he can't stay out of his own way in some respects.
And this is a guy that I was on his side when I believe he was wrongfully suspended in the finals against the Cavs, the year the Cavs won. Yeah, the year the Cavs won.
Yeah.
I still think he was wrongfully suspended there. But it's becoming more and more difficult to defend when you do stupid things. I know people used to say the same thing about Dennis Rodman, for argument's sake. Yeah. But even when I look back, and a couple of years ago, I did a comparative look of him, Rashid, and Draymond, and really and truly, Dennis Rodman was a pest. Awesome player, but a pest. He used to get in men's head. So when he when he did something, it was usually in reaction to somebody reacting to what he had been doing the whole game. Draymond ain't doing that. Draymond is like, Draymond just going nuts, man.
Just wakes up one day, just chooses violence, doesn't he? Basically,
today I'm going to punch Gobert in the chest.
Yeah. You're not trying to tell us that Rasheed Wallace is misunderstood, then, are you, dude?
Oh no, Rasheed was special. Like not to go too much on the tangent. Rasheed was special. She'd lived with a chip on his shoulder. If you know his backstory and what's not, you'll understand why he always seemed to play angry, even though he was calm. He looked calm, but he's literally angry. It's like Rasheed is like the Hulk. Look calm and everything. You wake up that he bang you in the face.
He's
calm. You know what I mean? So he turned around and looked at the ref. Like, you remember the most ridiculous tech ever? Like he didn't even do nothing. He turned around and looked at the ref. The ref was like, "Yeah, double technical, gone." And he was like, "Wait."
He's like, "Stop staring at me! Stop staring at me!" And he just kept staring at him. He's like, "Get gone, get out, bro. We're done."
You know what I mean? So, but Draymond ain't doing that. Draymond he's joined, and I love the join, but he joined, but then he's doing silly things. Like we can't say it enough. Like the things he does seem to be more on the unnecessary side than.
Yeah. George, did you like the jab from Gobert after the game saying Draymond didn't want to play in the game because Curry wasn't playing?
Yeah. I did see someone actually make a graph that he's played 100 less games without Steph Curry. It's like 120 less games without Steph Curry, but he's been ejected twice as many times when Steph's not been playing. So
he's got the stats, bro. He's got the stats, man.
Maybe
that's a good job, though.
Can't keep his eye on him, and that's why he's decided to miss.
It was a good side swipe at him.
That is a good job. Yeah, that is a good job. So Daddy Steph is not here, yeah. Daddy Steph's not here.
So who else is noting down the next time these two teams play each other? Like, oh mate, it's on, isn't it? It's on. Like somebody's clotheslining somebody. It's gonna.
But we need that. We need that. I love that in the league. I love that.
Obviously, you don't want anyone to be hurt, but you want a bit of chippy. You want a bit of chippiness, don't you?
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. So, like we say, another year, another Draymond issue, suspension. It might not be the last this year. There could be something else. We're very early days, guys, aren't we, in the season? To be fair, so it could be something else could happen. So I'm sure we'll cover Draymond again at some point during the season. Next team we should move on to is the surprising Houston Rockets, currently sitting 6-5. In the West. New coach, former Celtic, which Jordan will know about, Ime Udoka, taken over the team, been paid some big money. And I think the win totals for the Rockets was considerably low before the season started, but they're at the moment, they've lost 2 in a row, unfortunately, so they're now 6-5. So
lost to who?
You get your turn, bro. You'll get your turn. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, it was noted. George, with Ime being a former coach of your team, the Boston Celtics, should we believe in the Rockets, or are they just a flash in the pan this early doors, or can they actually put something together this season and surprise a few people?
It's too early. It is still too early.
Yeah.
However, they have an amazing coach who, if it wasn't for off the court issues, which if people want to look at, then you can easily find it.
It's been well documented, bro, hasn't it?
Ime Udoka would probably very much still be the head coach of the Boston Celtics.
100%.
Which says everything you need to know. He would be theoretically going into his third year. He took the Celtics to the finals, first finals appearance since 2010. 2009. We went the year after. We lost the year after to Kobe.
2008. No, you lost 2 years after.
Yeah,
2008.
2010. You're right, bro. You got it.
Yeah, so, 2008. The year I should have beat you. You keep going.
Very good coach. I mean, the difference maker is it Dylan Brooks?
Oh my god!
Because I mean, realistically, they've not added that much, but there's two factors that have played a part. One, Jalen Green has improved steadily, still steadily improving.
He's a baller.
Yeah, but I mean, efficiency-wise, he's not been great. But that is improving game on game.
Turnover machine, mate. Turnover machine last year, wasn't he?
However, the big difference for me in that team is Alperen Şengün, without a question. I think he is absolutely locked down that centre position, made it his own. He's one of, if not the best, one of the best players in that team now already, and he's only in year 2 or year 3? Year 3. So yeah, I mean, I can still remember going ages back where we were picking our when we went through our award preview thing about a year and a half ago or a year and however long ago it was, and I said that I would take Alperen Şengün in one of my all rookie teams, and everyone laughed. Well, he's certainly turned a corner. I mean, some of the numbers he's been putting up, the way he's playing, you can still tell that he's not quite adjusted to that centre position. I watched them against the Cavs not that long ago, and he did make some very questionable decisions on the defensive end late on in that game. He went out to challenge, I think it was Garland, and just left the lane completely open for Jarrett Allen. I think defensively there's still things that he needs to work on, but it's expected when centres generally come into the league. Obviously, there are exceptions every now and again, but I think he's been a main difference maker in that team for me. Not saying he's the only reason that they're doing well, but he's definitely one of the factors in that. Jalen Green averaging pretty consistent numbers. Efficiency-wise, again, like I said, it could still improve a little bit. I think sometimes he does tend to start chucking. But yeah, I think they'll do better than people expected before the season. But there is still a lot of development that needs to be had with the team. They've still got things to run through. But for crying out loud, do not offer James Harden a home.
that could be the best move they did all summer, wasn't it? Was not take on.
Got there before me.
Yeah, I think that's a definite good point, bro. Philosopher, are you surprised by the stuff?
You know, I was gonna mention the worthless beard. You know, I was going to mention the worthless beard. The best thing the Houston Rockets did this season was not hiring Ime Udoka, because I actually wanted Ime to go to Milwaukee. I wanted, I'm on record saying that, I think, in this forum as well. However, also because of a lot of the points that Jordan just made, he has shown the potential to be a championship caliber coach. And the Rockets, with that young core, I didn't feel was ready to. Well, they still aren't ready to turn that corner or to really, really challenge, especially because they're in the West. You know what I mean? That being said, I'm also on record lauding the young core of the Rockets. There are 3 teams that I've been telling people that have a very, very good young core. The Orlando Magic, the Houston Rockets, and the Detroit Pistons have a very good young core. And if they get the right type of leader in a coach that is going to be patient with them, just like Ume seems to have been, and then tweak it to get performances out of them while still allowing them to develop, just like he did with the Celtics, who were at a further stage than these Rockets were, who had a more premier star, at least one, than these Rockets do in Jason Tatum, for argument's sake, then you're going to get good results. But what's most surprising, I'm chuffed at Jordan's factor being the center. I actually have to salute that point because that is a massive point. But this is what I'm going to say. In terms of Jalen Green, I always liked Jalen Green from last year, and this is his second season. So he's still young, just like most of them. Jabari Smith, they're still working out things. But what they're doing is that they're growing together, and they've completely bought into the system that Ume has. So to answer the question, should we believe in the Rockets? The answer is no, because one, it's too early. Two, they're still too young. And three, it still can go either way. The way of the Kings last season, all the way to the playoffs, to which the Kings, very much like the points I made about the Celtics, have a premier star, at least one in Fox and so on and so forth. The Rockets don't quite have that yet. At least none of them have developed into that, or they didn't draft that. And two, the other way it could go is the way of the Chicago Bulls. Everybody can remember the Bulls from a couple seasons ago. I know Jordan can jump on me, but the Bulls were number one in the East. The Bulls were number one in the East and had one injury, Lonzo Ball. Then they had, Caruso and somebody else had some niggles. And then it completely went tits up, where they barely made the playoffs and then got swept in first round and so on and so forth. So it's way too early to believe in the Rockets, but I like what they're doing. And yes, I am so. Could you imagine if they actually had James Harden? Oh my God, it would be detrimental. I don't care how much of a top 75 player he actually is. Yeah. It would be detrimental to their development, to their growth, to Ume possibly having to deal with a star of that magnitude who then feels that no one can obviously tell him anything. Yeah. He's going to get his number retired.
He wouldn't last 3 practices with Ime, would he? Harden. It's a non-starter, isn't it? It's just like
is another. I love that Ume's team does, and Jordan would know this better than all of us. Ume's teams work very hard.
Oh yeah.
If you
ain't working, you're out, mate. You're sitting on the bench, bro. It's simple, isn't it?
You see what I'm saying? So and the same Jabari Smith has learned that early o'clock because he was starting last season. Yeah, he was starting consistently. He wasn't working as hard through preseason and into now. He only now start picking back up lots of minutes in the rotation because of that work ethic that Ume demands. So
have you still got your Jabari Smith stock? Because you were quite high on him coming into the draft,
Listen,
the league.
That's why I know so much about baller. But he's the type.
You still faith, yeah?
He's the type that walks on the court and be like, yeah, I am that guy. I don't have to work this hard because I am already that guy. Nah, fella, no. Like the great Michael Jordan said, I work twice as hard as the demand I put on my teammates. And that's Michael Jordan. So nah, work hard. Work, brother. Work.
Absolutely. George, I'll give you props, bro. I remember you talking about Şengün, and I'll be honest, I was like, I don't even know who that is when you talked about him. So fair props to you, sir, because like I say, started the season quite well. Apparently he grew 2 inches in the summer as well, which is just bizarre. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the rumor.
How old is he? 20, 21?
Yeah, it's still growing. So
He came from somewhere. Was it Fenerbahce or so? It was one of
Yeah,
the.
he's Turkish. He came from Fenerbahce.
I can still
All
remember him
Mexico.
at when it was draft night, because that draft that he was in, it was the first sort of proper draft that I'd analysed and gone through everyone, and I had him circled from early that he could be a pretty good pickup for someone later in the first round. And it got the camera went on to him, and I can remember he had some like sort of black suit on, like double black, like a black shirt. And every time the camera went to him, like they were cheering when it was on like Cade and things like that. And then it got to Şengün, and no one had any idea who he was.
No.
And now I'm just like, yeah, well,
bask in your glory, sir. Bask in your
feeling.
glory, mate.
It's a good feeling when I get one a lot better than when I said that Jalen Suggs should have gone in the top 3. I will be honest.
Hey, mate, we all have the misses, don't we, bro? You know what I mean? I think
the great Magic Johnson had a miss. He drafted Lonzo and told Lonzo that his jersey is going to be in the southeast corner. Come on, man. Don't worry about misses.
Could have had Tatum or somebody. I can't remember who it was.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me. We could have had Jason Tatum. We could have had D'Angelo Fox. Sorry, Darren Fox. We could have had. Was Spider in that draft too?
Yes. Yeah.
I think Spider was in that draft because that was the Ben Simmons draft, right?
Yeah. He was in the year after, because when Simmons won Rookie of the Year, if you remember, Spider was just like winding him up like when it got near the Rookie of the Year voting, and he turned up to one of the Jazz games and a jumper that just said "not a rookie" on it. Because technically it was Simmons' second season, but he'd not played in the first season because, believe it or not, Ben Simmons was injured.
Shocking. As the Ben Simmons comeback bid failed again, then has it? Oh, bless him.
Oh dear.
I think one of the main things about the Rockets guys going back is they've got some adults in the room now, haven't they? In that dressing room, I
purposely did not mention them. I purposely did not mention them. I refused.
They've got Van Vliet, they've got Uncle Jeff Green. They've even got Victor Oladipo, which I forgot who was even on that roster. So, at least there's some semi-professional people in there now who, Van
Vliet is an awesome pickup. Van Vliet's literally the leader of that team.
I mean, he got paid, didn't he? Van Vliet got his money, which is what he wanted.
Number 9 got his money. The person that wears jersey number 9 for the Houston Rockets now, he got his money.
He got his money too, bro.
And I'll step out of the box and say that was a good pickup by the Rockets, because you get somebody that's defensive minded. Even though I don't really rate his defense, to be honest, he talks it better than he actually plays it. But he's a type of a pest, and so on and so forth. Dillon Brooks is the type of player that could be a catalyst on your team, as shown by Canada, for argument's sake, in the World Championship. And so on and so forth. So the Rockets had some decent pickups for real.
Yeah,
I forgot Victor as well, actually.
Yeah, I did, mate. Honestly, I was looking at the roster earlier. I was like, Victor Oladipo.
Because he always hurt.
Yeah, it's a shame. Hurt, man. Literally, man, they just put him out there for like 12 minutes a night now. Just like a short boost, man. It's a
lot of people wouldn't put him in this bracket, but I think he deserves to be, because a lot of people actually forget about Victor Oladipo, man. He deserves to be spoken about, maybe if not in this realm, just under the Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, Derrick Rose, Brandon Roy what ifs. The what ifs. Victor Oladipo is definitely a what if, man.
That year in Indiana, he was sensational.
2 years.
That season. Well, yeah. Did he get injured halfway through one? That's
halfway through the second year.
Yeah, like you say, it's one of them what if careers, isn't it, mate, for sure? But I didn't even know that he was on that team. So, but keep an eye out on the Rockets, man. Maybe could they sneak in? Who knows? But we'll maybe they'll get better as the season goes on. But we'll wait and see. Next topic we've got, guys, is another team that maybe surprises some people or maybe not, but currently sitting at the top of the West is the Minnesota Timberwolves, led by Ant-Man Edwards with his twin towers of Gobert and Carl Anthony Towns.
Two
Philosopher,
wastes.
are you surprised by the Timberwolves start? Or
I refuse. Yes, I am surprised by it.
yeah,
I'm surprised by it. And when I say I'm surprised that they sit at the top. But yeah, it's still early doors. Still early doors, yeah.
always, yes.
But they're also playing well.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that they're playing better, because those of us that like to pundit basketball and fans of NBA, over last season for sure, most of us said the Timberwolves need to move away from Cat being the number one option to Ant-Man being the number one option.
Free Ant-Man. Free Ant-Man.
Free Ant-Man. Ant-Man is the problem in that team. He is that guy.
Yeah.
And it seems as though, what's their coach name again?
Chris Finch.
Finch. It seems as though Finch has definitely said, okay, look, you got the ball, fella. Because we went and got this second center who, okay, Cat is similar to AD, prefers to play power forward, blah, 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 blue, but you're a center. Yeah? And you're soft as a wet marshmallow. Yeah? And Gobert with his French baguette self, who thinks he's more than he actually is, can come in and say, oh, this will be like the coming of the second Twin Towers. First of all, it would have been the third Twin Towers, because the original Twin Towers is Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon. That's a little information. And then the second version of that was the better version of that, which was David Robinson and Tim Duncan. And better only probably because Ralph got injured for Houston, blah, 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 blah. So he's a what if. But you compare yourself to David Robinson and Tim Duncan, and then play like Manute Ball and George Mursan. You can't do that. You can't do that, man. You're not the Twin Towers. You're Twin Towers in size alone. Like, that's it. Let Ant-Man run the show. So that's been happening with the Twin Towers in support roles. If they actually keep that to a satisfactory position with regard to Cat, because I expect him to start to moan about it sometime soon, that Ant-Man running the show. I expect that. Gobert is more supportive, and more the type of supportive player. So I don't expect him to moan. But if they can maintain that chemistry, and what's like, Timberwolves are going to be a problem. They got good outlets like Mike Conley and Naz Reid and those boys there. And same McDaniels that going to SPAC the other day. They have good outlets, a nice little team, and they could make some serious noise in the West. So it does surprise me they sit on the top, but it doesn't surprise me that they've gotten tremendously better.
Nice. Yeah, very much so, mate. Very much so. George, are you echoing the philosopher's comments about the Wolves?
I'll never forget on NBA 2K21, I think it was. I spent, because I am this sad, I had a career, my player, that I played 20 seasons with the Timberwolves.
Hell of a career, bro. Hell of a career.
Right.
How many rings? How many rings?
Championships and 10 MVPs later, or something like that. It was something insane. Went down in history as the GOAT. Most career threes, all-time point scorer. Like it was crazy. But the thing is, that sparked a little sort of not passion, because that's not the right word, but I always like to see the Timberwolves doing all right.
Yeah, appreciation.
So I am pleasantly surprised that they're playing this well. Now, Anthony Edwards is someone that we've all sort of said on the show before. It is his team now. I think, Matt, you were the first one to say it last year when we were doing one of the end of the bench, and I know Adam's definitely been red hot on that as well. Do agree. But the thing is, I was watching a video the other day. Won't give him a shout out because I thought it was a horrible take. But he basically was making out that Cat needs to worry because this is becoming Anthony Edwards' team. Now, this is more than becoming. This has become full stop. Like this has a
Full stop.
become his team. There's no becoming.
And why is he worrying? The team is doing better.
The other night, Cat, I think he had 33 and 11, and Ant had 26. Hadn't shot the ball incredibly well. But all of the highlights, everything on Twitter was saying that Anthony Edwards had carried that team to victory. When that is happening, that is when you know that it's not his team anymore. Because they would not be doing that. If the main guy had more points, better stats, they would be going for him. The reason they're all saying Edwards this, Ant-Man, is because it is his team. The Gobert and Cat combo is continuing to be. It's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It's just not really, it's a bit clunky. They're like on defense. Yeah, Gobert's obviously very, very good, especially in the paint. Cat is it's Cat. Offensively, it's the opposite. Cat can do quite a bit offensively. Gobert can't do anything. So they don't really complement each other. There's no chance you're going to be able to make Rudy Gobert a pick and roll partner. And Cat doesn't really play that either. He's not strong enough. So I just think that there's still work to be done there, and this will ultimately fail because of that.
Ooh.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so I need to respond to that. Oh, can I?
Absolutely, go, bro. Go
on, man.
I said it will ultimately fail. I don't want to challenge it because your points have tremendous merit. But what I will say, the only beef I got against Minnesota is actually a big beef in that they need to retire Kevin Garnett's number. Like, no one is walking into Minnesota and wearing number 21. Yeah, let's just put that out there. Anytime we get a chance to, let's put it out there because it's blatant disrespect that Minnesota has not retired number 21. Anyway,
you know why though, don't you, Adam?
Yeah, but still
ridiculous. Still ridiculous.
But I referenced Kevin Garnett because in my earlier point, to you saying that they'll ultimately fail. In my earlier point, when I said Cat likes to play more of a stretch 4 than an actual 5, his type of play. Yeah, if we're being completely honest, if they had any sense, and I'm not putting it down to the coach because any coach that half blind and only has one eye would make Gobert or attempt to make Gobert that pick and roll player on offense if necessary, and Cat the foil because Ant-Man has the ball coming to Ant-Man first. So the foil is Cat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Gobert coming to pick. And just in case he's free, just tell him once you pick, roll. Just go to the hole. Yeah. Go to the hole. We toss it up there. We giving you just score around the basket. Don't worry about anything else. Mm-hmm. And that's the only reason I believe, if done, it wouldn't fail. You see what I'm saying? That's the only way it wouldn't fail. Because if Cat is the foil, then he gets nights like the other night, like the 33 points, 11 rebounds. I think he had 6 or 7 assists that night too. You see what I'm saying? That's the only way it functions. Otherwise, I mean, you got to bow down to all of Jordan's points there just now. It's a square peg in the wrong hole. The men clunky on even on defense. Yeah, Gobert rules the roost. Ant-Man knows that. Mike Conley ain't going down there. Naz Reid, who's good defensively on the block, he ain't going down there. But Cat seems to always be in his way. That's why, for argument's sake, Gobert should still be challenging for the Defensive Player of the Year. But have you noticed that he's kind of dropped off of that? And it's not because Cat is playing more D, for argument's sake. You know what I mean? Like, to balance it out.
I think Gobert's been better defensively this season than he was last season. From what I've seen. I'd take the point, bro.
Stats wise, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think we lambasted this trade for Gobert, didn't we, guys? On a previous show, we were not
end
fans
of the bench
of this
days,
trade.
boy.
Absolutely. Shout out to the end of the bench. We lambasted this trade, didn't we? I think we were all pretty much in agreement of what the hell are you doing? They give up so much for as well. But they're looking at now, and you're the top of the West. I'm not ready to admit defeat yet, but it's kind of there, isn't it? Like you say, bro. I think Gobert's got to be the screener on offense, and then Cat's almost like go stand in the corner, dude, or and answer the balls in his hands. I think that's how it's been going at the end
Attack
of games.
Attack weak side every single time. And I watched the Timberwolves play, and it pissed me off. Attack weak side. Okay, I haven't hit your Suns yet for the night. But what's all your Suns doing? If your Suns start to employ what Golden State used to do with Kevin Durant, KD is going to be KD regardless. But KD was the foil for Golden State. So you had no answer because you don't know who coming first with Golden State. With the Suns, similarly, you don't know who coming first. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, man, Bradley Beal. But if Kevin Durant attacks with Golden State, Kevin Durant was the weak side attack all the time. If Cat becomes the weak side attack, then the Timberwolves is a serious problem. Serious problem.
Well, you look at the teams who they beat this year, guys. They beat the Celtics, they beat the Nuggets, they beat the Warriors twice, and they've beaten the Heat already this season. So these are legitimate wins, aren't they? They're not. They beat Celtics in overtime. It's early, guys. But
early.
It's a nice resume to have, isn't it? For sure. And I loved what Kerr said about Edwards when he was on Team USA. He started Team USA where he was going to be a guy coming off the bench. And after like 2 or 3 exhibition games, he was starting. They were like, Edwards, this kid is going to be
he has
very good.
The mentality that I love in a player because
he'll outwork people. He'll outwork everyone.
And he's that talent. So you put them two things together, you get a deadly player. Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, any of them. You can even call LeBron. You know what I mean? You put them
and he wants to guard the opposition's best guy on defense as well. Not only does he want the ball at the end of games, he wanted to guard Tatum at the end of the Celtics game in overtime.
That's what I love.
He's like waving Connolly away. Get out, man. I've got this guy. Like, what I mean? I love like the competitiveness, and that's what you want.
That's what I need. That's what I need from my prime stars. I need that. Call me old. That's why Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, my favorites. I hated the Spurs, but Tim Duncan was that guy too. Tim Duncan give you that work on offense. And on defense, he picking up the best player in the post. Simple as. You know what I mean? These new age players that talking about, I'm an offensive guy. Or, I lock up anybody on defense, but you're trash on off. Nah, come out my face. Basketball's playing on both ends of the court, man.
For sure, bro. For sure. Absolutely. And like George says, I think at some point there's going to be a time where Cat's going to do something stupid. And we've seen it often enough now that Cat is going to do something daft. Or he's going to have a really bad game at the worst possible time. So we'll wait and see. They've started really well, guys. So 9-3. It's a decent start, but like you say, we've got a long way to go. It's a long season, but if you're a Wolves fan, you've got to be pretty happy with how it's gone, man. I think for sure.
100.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Last topic that we've got is talking about, like we say, the season's quite early, but I wondered if you got any kind of surprises or disappointments so far this season. I'll go with you, Philosopher. A surprise of the season? I don't know. It could be a team player. I don't know. Some whatever you want, mate. To be honest.
But my surprise, I'll go. There's a few, though. There's a few.
I'm sure,
pleasant surprises. But like you said, it's still early. So I normally gauge my I normally give people down to Christmas. Let me
Yeah.
let me see what you're saying at Christmas, and then let me see what you're saying by All Star. If you legit by All Star, then I'll start to either berate you or give you full flowers. You know,
Yeah.
but the
Absolutely.
Rockets are a nice surprise. You kind of listed them here, but when you set the topic, I was like, yeah, but he actually listed them. The Rockets.
I'm not going to lie, bro. I've probably messed up on this one a little bit. But,
No,
you know,
no mess up, no mess up, no mess up, no mess up. Some pleasant surprises are like the Rockets and the Wolves.
Sure.
Some disappointments. Well, another surprise is the Clippers. How poorly the Clippers have been playing, and even with the addition of James Harden, and they talk about, oh, when we figure this out, blah, but we can be scary, whatever. Or I don't play in the system, I am the system. Oh, shut up. You know what I mean? Like Tyronn Lue's been there long enough. With your two premier stars, who is not Russell Westbrook or James Harden, no matter what they think, even though Russell Westbrook actually did the big thing last week and said, listen, coach, I can come off the bench. I'll come off the bench there. You know? It's still surprising that they're struggling that bad, even in their play. Yeah. The Lakers aren't surprising me because I knew they would just do enough to just stay afloat. I figured that as much. So even if they were doing better than they are, and they haven't been playing badly, even though they're piss poor first quarter team. The Heat have surprised me in their but yeah, that's team wise, and then player wise, I'm disappointed that Scoot. Yeah, he got injured.
Yeah,
but he didn't hit the ground running as well as I thought he would have. I think in our picks for Rookie of the Year, I think he's mine.
That is correct, sir. That is correct. Yeah.
So yeah, I've been disappointed with Scoot, and yeah, that's me. That's me for now.
Okay. George, have you any early season thoughts?
I've got a few really, but there's not really too many. I'm kind of like Adam. I'm not ready to sort of call it out yet.
Hey man, I'm not gonna hang your hat on them kind of thing.
Like,
just give us
the alarm bells have started ringing for a few things. So
panic button.
I want to start it off with Jaylen Brown. Again, last night, awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
And your team is playing well. And your team, but he's not. That's true. That's a good one.
Funnily enough, after I messaged you guys the other day and said that he's been terrible, he then had 3 pretty good games.
Yeah.
Like outside of that, like there's been like 4 games this season where he's posted single-digit points.
Can't do that and be getting 300 million, man. Sorry.
The highest paid NBA player of all time. Now that will change, but he still is. Yeah. I personally, you guys know, I wouldn't have paid him. I was happy to let him go last summer and chance it because I just didn't think that it was worth that amount of money. I still don't. But obviously, for my own sake, for my own team, I hope he does turn it around. I think the main team that I'm disappointed at, though, is the Charlotte Hornets. They have been next to useless this season.
And there is my. You see, that's the comment, right? That's the Andy Gray moment, right there.
There's your soundbite.
Useless.
But I just don't understand. Like LaMelo Ball is playing well. He's probably
All-Star.
He started this season off probably better than any season of his career so far. And
All-Star. All-Star.
Team, the only one I'll give a pass to is Mark Williams because he's a rookie and he's not doing that much wrong. But everyone else is just...
Brandon Miller ain't bad either.
Miller's not bad.
They're 3-9, and when I look through some of the teams that they've lost to, they played against the Hawks. I think it wasn't opening. Was it opening night or second night? And they were miles in front, and they lost. They were like 22 points. It was either the Wizards or the Hawks, and they were 22 points up, and they lost the lead in the second half. And in the end, I think they ended up losing by like 10 or 12 points. So
It's how they're losing as well. I think that's what's got you most upset.
It's the manner of it that I've just thought has just not been. It's just not been good. Something that's like I said, it's not a disappointment yet. If they're still playing like this at Christmas, it would be disappointing. The Bucks, more on the style of the losses, they got absolutely blown the hell out by the Magic the other night.
Piggy bank.
Banquero, mate. Give me all the stock you've got, mate. I mean,
all of it.
I'm still pretty sure they will figure that out. They've got a new coach. They've got a pretty big change to their whole layout. So yeah. Anyway,
the statement that Harden made about the Clippers, that's applicable to the Bucks, and not because y'all know I have my love for Zeus, but you see when they figure it out, there will be a problem because you've already seen glimpses and flashes of what they could be, but when they've not been unsung or they've been kind of scrabble. And all over the place, and then they get beaten. Like the blowout the other night was very, very ugly. Oh my word!
You know things are bad for the Bucks when Jay Crowder going down's a major injury blow, isn't it? That's kind of where we're at right now, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's not really where it's at. But
and last but not least, because I'll leave it with a positive one instead of getting too negative.
Okay.
One of my happiest surprises is Paul Zingis.
Oh yes,
he has been so steady this season. Apart from the Knicks game on opening night, where he actually played close to his best. He's just been so consistent. He's getting between 15 and 20 points a night. He's picking the rebounds up. He's doing the bit on the defense. He's averaging, I think is it just under or just over a block a game, which is all he really has to do at the moment. And everyone was like, "Oh, but and this is again why it's too soon to say because I might be very pleasantly surprised right now, but if he gets injured tonight, then all of a sudden it's like, everyone said this.
That's the danger. That's the danger. Kristaps Porzingis isn't doing anything that surprises me. Simply because we know what a unicorn can give. The reason why I absolutely cringe that the Celtics, two of the Celtics pickups this season was Porzingis and Jrue Holiday, is because that makes the Celtics a ridiculous contender.
Yeah. That closing five's tough, bro.
If that
closing five is tough, isn't it, man? For the
Celtics.
The
only thing can hurt that Celtics team is injury. Even with how piss poor Jaylen Brown has been. And one of the reasons why I feel Jordan's pain, but I'm relishing and loving it as well as a Lakers fan, of course, is because of how Jaylen Brown behaved to make fans like Jordan upset last season. He's playing lights out. A lot of the times when you couldn't depend on Tatum, Brown had his numbers and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And yet telling you, listen, you need to resign me. But if you don't want to resign me, then I'm gonna look elsewhere with that kind of attitude. Like, and we all said it, like, bro, you ain't do nothing yet though. You just, you know what I mean? You ain't do nothing yet. And now you've gotten your money. You're doing this. That's why Celtic fans like Jordan thing are upset. But I will say this: if you keep Kristaps fit, Jaylen Brown will no longer be your second option. I could guarantee you that, because Kristaps was supposed to be that X factor for Carmelo. A lot of people forget that. When the Knicks had Melo and Amari, that's when they went and draft Kristaps. Then he went to Dallas, and look how deadly that would have been with Luka and so on. So only thing that stopped Kristaps has been injury, So I hate to say it, but the Celtics look real good. I hate to say it.
They do, man. Like you say, maybe the only thing stopping the Celtics making a good way into the playoffs, man, is going to be health, isn't it? But
yep.
Porzingis had a block at the end of the Grizzlies game, didn't he? The other night, George. A game saving block.
On who?
Is it Bain? Was it or
on No, it was on yeah, it was on Desmond Bain. It was on Desmond Bain. On Desmond Bain. That's what made it critical for me. I was like, yeah, that's a top block against one of their leading players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Key.
Absolutely.
Key.
You've got to be happy, Jordan, at the moment being a Celtics fan, bro.
We've been here before, so let's.
A weathered veteran now, Jordan is in this basketball log. We're there, aren't we? Don't get too ahead of yourself.
I have been very impressed so far this season. I think, especially the game last night against the Grizzlies. I've been that busy today. I've not even had a chance to watch the highlights yet. But it's the fact that we're scrapping away against. All right, the Grizzlies haven't been good this year so far.
No, poor.
But against teams, on the road, against teams that maybe last season, if we played like that, we would have got beat. And how many times we've sort of scrapped away and then lost in the last seconds of the game. And that corner seems to have been at the moment turned, which would instill me with even more confidence. Because it is so important to just find a way sometimes. And, champions always find a way. If you want to be a champion, you've got to have that mindset, right?
Good point. And that's a mentality, I dare say, only Lakers and Celtics fans have. In the whole league, I don't care what, even in the dominance of the Bulls in the 90s and what's not, when my beloved was dominating the league, like the Lakers and Celtics fans do not celebrate winning seasons. Don't celebrate winning seasons. No. Don't celebrate record, having a great record. Don't celebrate that. You may celebrate
finishing top in the West in the regular season's not quite. Yeah.
You win your Eastern Conference Finals. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Win the next one. Yeah. I don't mean.
Yeah. Like the great James Worthy said, we don't hang division titles, The Celtics don't have no blasted room in the rafters, so all them numbers they got retired. You know what I mean? But again, so like doing well is expected.
Yeah,
it's lauded even, but it is celebrated like, best record and nah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Before we go, guys, I'll probably just chuck in one thing I'm surprised at. We said it on our first show. We weren't a fan of this, but I hate myself for it. But I'm all in on the in-season tournament, bro. I love it. I love it, mate. I love it. I'm all in, bro.
Hands raised. Legit hands raised.
Hands court. Jerseys. I'm in, bro. I'm in. I love it.
Hands raised.
Give it to me. Yeah.
Hands raised.
I think the reason that I'm surprised about that is because I didn't expect it to just gel as well as it has done. Like the key factor is the fact that because I must admit, when I said I thought it was a load of shit, it was because
you had the best rant. You had the best rant on the
We all said similar.
It was that if the games weren't going to count, how interested would the players be? But because it is just one and the same, it's just an extra little sweetener for the players. It's going to count towards the season anyway. Yeah. The only dejection that I've got from it is some of the courts do look horrible.
Some of them. Yeah.
But apart from that, it has been very much better than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah. So you can't please everybody. Like I agree that some of the courts are like what's this? But the mere fact that the courts are different, because growing up on what's not, I've always liked to see different things, different courts. Like even back in the day, how Celtics court used to be, Boston's court used to be a different wood. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then so you go certain places. Seattle's court used to have the tower like in a shade. That alone for me, so for the end season with the trophy through it, and then the weird color combinations, and then the jerseys, and then the play is actually hype as well. So like the players have clearly bought in. Clearly, because when you get in season tournament gameplay now, these men get all out, you know. So I raised my hand and said, okay, all right, okay, NBA, you might be onto something.
Yeah, you've done me again. Yeah,
you might be onto something.
I was originally not for it, and then as soon as I started watching, I'm like, actually, this is all right, man. I quite like
even the first couple of games, I was like, oh yeah, here we go. So this is just but by like the third off, I was like, actually, this is all right. You know?
The semis and the final are in Vegas at the beginning of December. That's going to be a thing, bro. That's going to be a thing. Like,
of course, it's going to be a thing. Not to cross sport, but F1 just had the first Vegas Grand Prix.
Yeah,
and they spent a lot of people mourning, they putting up and the residents complaining, and they spend 500 million on setup. They just cleared 1.7 billion in profit. In profit, of course, the final in Get Vegas for the NBA is going to be ridiculous for this season tournament thing. And you know, a Vegas team is coming.
Yeah,
a Vegas team is coming.
Yeah, this is like a rehearsal, isn't it? Like,
a Vegas team coming, and they want it to come because it means that they have to bring two, because they can't just bring one expansion team. They have to bring. I think I was watching something recently, and they were interviewing the deputy commissioner. Not Adam Silver, the deputy commissioner. I forgot what his name is. But
Mark Tatum.
Mark Tatum, yes, and he was saying. Nice one, George. He was saying that because of the structure and the setup, I think we raised it here on the Shooters Lounge. Hi, hot it. In that moving, I think we would move the Pelicans to the east, and I can't remember who brought it up. Might be Ken, but
maybe Memphis as well. I think you said.
And Memphis, yes, Memphis. Yeah. So I think it was Ken, because he was talking about how geographically it lines out, but they have to bring two teams. And one of the reasons I'm happy for that is because Seattle, the Supersonics need to come back, man.
We're ready. I'm ready, mate. I'm ready for the
Supersonics. And the first thing they need to do is to retire number 40 and number 20, and then start this season. And I'm good.
We're good. Yeah, like it, mate.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to backtrack on what I said on the first show, that I wasn't a fan of the in-season tournament. It wasn't going to be a thing, but I'm in on it now. So well done, NBA. You know, trying new things, trying to bring new stuff in. So I think they've nailed it. I'd be surprised if they didn't bring it back again, but we'll soon find out. So that's all we've got for this week, guys. So if you want to give yourselves a shout out, Jord, before we log off.
Yeah, NBA_infamous on Twitter. That's pretty much the only space that I'm in these days. Gone a bit off the grid. But yeah, come hang if you want to talk some hoops.
Sound. Mr. Philosopher, give you some self promo, mate.
Yes, sir. Every weekday, Instagram Live, 23:10 GMT. Man on. We rant about everything, not just basketball, but anything related to any team that I back, I support. Philosopher 005 on Twitter. Well, X, formerly known as Twitter. And on Instagram, Jean-Marc_Maximus. Man on. Philosopher. See ya. Big up to the Shooters Lounge.
Nice one, guys. Cheers for dropping in, man. Much appreciate it. I'm Matt at PostUp323. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel Shooters Lounge, and you can catch us on Instagram at the Shooters Lounge 3 and the Shooters Lounge on the artist formerly known as Twitter. So we'll be back in a couple of weeks, guys. We'll be talking some more hoops again. So thanks very much, and we will see you again.